Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Biotech Challenges and Opportunities. Thank you for being here today. We have this month Biotech in the spotlight. So we have had other webinars highlighting the biotech startup ecosystem in Latin America and Canada. And we are really glad that we have two speakers today, plus Marcelo, which is connecting probably later. We have Luis from a university in Sao Paulo, and we have Chris in Toronto, helping us to understand a little bit more about the ecosystem in general terms about biotech in Canada and Latin America, respectively. So we are going to start with some questions in a few minutes, just for you guys to know. If you have any questions or comments, just please go ahead and send us the questions to contact@latamstartups.biz or through the hashtag LatamStartups. And we'll be happy to answer your questions anytime and probably to connect with the two participants today. So for now to start, before I start, I always say, what is this about? Latam Startups is a nonprofit organization based here in Toronto. We help startups to scale. So we're really glad to connect Canadian and Latin American startup ecosystems. So let's start now, and we will start with Luis in Sao Paulo. Luis, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Luis. I'm talking from Brazil, from Ribeirão Preto specifically. We are talking from Supera Technology Park, which is an innovation habitat here in Brazil. And we are very glad to participate in this webinar.
Thank you, Luis. And now, Chris, you are here in Toronto, so please introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Chris Dudley. I'm the director of Helix, which is Seneca's on-campus entrepreneurship and innovation incubator. I'm happy to be part of this webinar.
Thank you so much, Chris and Luis. So we are going to start with some questions. First of all, we were having another two webinars with some content about the Latin American and Canadian startup ecosystem in biotechnology, which also covers, health, and it covers some agricultural technology part of that. So for the first question will be, how really do you define today a biotech company? So Chris, if you could start with that answer, what is a biotech company for you?
Well, for me, a biotech is using living organisms for the purpose of developing advancements in a number of different industries, agriculture, health. This could involve modification of genes and genetic engineering, but it's looking at old problems with new light.
Awesome. So Luis, for you, what is the definition that you guys have in Brazil about biotech companies?
Well, I'd like to introduce Guilherme, that is our International Office Coordinator. He is here, and he will also participate in this webinar with us.
Hello, Maria. Hello, Chris. Glad to be here. I'd like to talk about this question, starting with technology is getting into every sector, so it's getting harder to define what's a biotech company. But specifically, I'd say it's a company that works towards the improvement of life science and agriculture with the use of technology and drug discovery, working to discover new processes and elements, molecules, and the improvement of health in general.
Awesome. Thank you so much, both of you there in Brazil. So the next question is about, the biotech sector itself. We have seen in the content that we presented in the last webinars, we have seen a drop in the investment in biotech companies in compared with some other companies in tech sectors like IoT or FinTech or the others. So why do you think is the main reason why the market in your country should support biotech startups? And Chris, we'll start with you.
So in my mind, this is a new way to approach old problems. And to move the standards higher, faster, create more of more satisfaction and solve problems in a better, more economical way. That the bringing in technology into this allows us to redefine the playing field, and it is something that does take more investment, but the outcomes can be very, very disruptive and changing in a positive way. So I think we need to continue to support and invest in this, because this is the way to move forward.
Sounds perfect. Luis, why do you think right now for Brazil, this is kind of like a really important sector, is growing really fast. So in main terms, you guys have a lot of things that will kind of impact the biotechnology sector. Why do you think, or how do you think the government should support biotech companies in the general ecosystem in Brazil?
Well, normally biotech innovation here in Brazil is really different from the other countries. Sorry. Here normally is disruptive with a great potential. So then the companies here is really focused on the research and the technical aspects of the innovation. So we try to help these companies to get a really nice business model so they can develop it and put this innovation to the market. So we really think that this potential should be, I don't know, show for everybody that can use all these kinds of the things that were developed for the companies.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. You mentioned that the biotech sector is very different from other countries. How do you see that difference, and what is the compared with the other countries that you have seen? For example, what is the other country or countries that you compare the biotech sector in Brazil in respect to with the others?
Well, we have some specific questions here in our country that the technology, and especially in health and biotech sectors, they are very slow to the go-to-market, to reach a point to go-to-market. So we have a lot of barriers and regulations that take like years to the research, to go through all the process. So sometimes companies in Brazil that are developing some products, they prefer to go outside, to go to the US or other countries, perform the tests there, and maybe even license and do all the IP issues outside Brazil, because we have all these long processes.
Sounds good. So you highlight there some of the challenges, but we have similar challenges here in Canada. That's right, Rick, Chris. So we do actually found in some of the research that for commercialization of biotech company here in Canada, it takes around 10 years. How do you see those challenges right now, Chris? And how is Seneca helping through those challenges to those companies?
I think there's an ecosystem that supports companies in moving forward. Seneca, it's the university network, it's the college network that it comes together. Even institutions, well, Seneca with our incubator, it's supporting these ventures that are just starting out, and then connecting them into the ecosystem so that they can continue to grow. My understanding is from a biotech standpoint, Canada is doing actually quite well. I believe we are second worldwide in biotech industries, and I think we want to continue to develop that sector, and I believe it's incumbent not just on one institution, but in a network supported by the government to continue to develop and support this industry.
Perfect, Chris. Yeah, actually, we found that Canada has a goal for 2025 to be in the top 3 of the countries, commercializing in biotech companies. So that's part kind of the goal. If we are second already, that's really good. In respect of the opportunities, Luis, in Brazil, what do you think is the main opportunity you guys have developing new startups in biotech?
Right now, we have a great number of incubators and accelerators showing up, and they facilitate the access to information and to investors. So I believe this is a good opportunity right now, a good point to start investing in these companies with great potential. So all this network that is being created now, not only in Brazil, but worldwide, is one of the great points in these late years.
Awesome, thank you. And Chris, regarding the opportunities here in Canada to develop biotech companies, what do you think is the main opportunity for those companies to be developed here in Canada? Chris, you're mute.
Yeah, sorry, are you talking main sectors, or I don't quite understand.
For biotech startups, for example, what is the main opportunity to be developed here in Canada right now? Why they should, what is the great opportunity for them in the market?
So if I understand your question correctly, I think agriculture and health are 2 sectors that pose amazing opportunities for biotech. There's unlimited potential in these 2 sectors, and I come back to my last answer, where it becomes incumbent on government and the ecosystem, incubators and all of the regional innovation centers to all come together and support these businesses. Even if I look at Seneca, I look at our applied research area, which basically works with companies and supports them with our students to develop these initiatives, and I think there's a real opportunity in that regard.
Perfect, thank you. And certainly what we have seen, the 2 major probably components that are developing right now in biotechnology is in agricultural technology and health. So that's a tendency as well in Latin America. And we actually got into the hub 1 in agricultural technology. So that's really, really nice. And actually it's from Brazil. So Luis, there you go. How more biotech companies can approach to investors and corporations in order to grow their business, and what's the best way to do that approach? Luis, you mentioned it, this is kind of a difficulty in Brazil, and investment in general terms is difficult for many startups. So what is the best advice you give them in order to actually reach those investors or corporations that can be, the perfect partner for these biotech companies?
Yeah, so there are a lot of barriers that make it hard the researchers and all of the projects to go to market, but I think the best way is to find right partners and institutions that can establish relationships between researchers and big companies, so that you have a network that can help you and support your project or your research with the best professionals, the best resources.